Welcome to the Introduction to Magpi's Messaging System, introduced in February of 2014. Before you get started with messaging, you'll need to register at Magpi by going to www.magpi.com, where you'll see this page, and then clicking the red button to sign up for free. It takes about 20 seconds, and again, before you send messages, you'll need to register. Of course, I'm already registered, so let me go ahead and click the button to log in. And this brings me to the Magpi messaging dashboard. One important note about Magpi is that it has a messaging dashboard, and we can see that we're there because messaging is highlighted in red. There's also a forms dashboard. That's used for data collection, and I won't be touching on that today, but if you log into Magpi and notice that the word forms is highlighted in red, it means you're looking at the wrong dashboard. You'll need to click on messaging to move to the messaging dashboard. Now that we're logged in, I want to point out a couple aspects of the messaging dashboard that are important. One is that in the upper left, it indicates how many messaging credits you have available. You'll need a balance of more than 0 to be able to send messages. We'll talk about pricing a little bit later on. A second important part of the Magpi messaging dashboard is that in the top right, it indicates your account time zone. Now, I'm sitting in Washington, D.C. right now, which is the same time zone as America, New York, which is Greenwich Mean Time -5, so my time zone is set correctly. So I have enough messaging credits, and I'm also set for the right time zone. But if I wanted to change either of those two, I'd need to go to my account page. The way you go to the account page is to move to the upper right-hand corner, where you'll see a link that is your username or your email address, and when you click on it, it will bring you to the account page, which has 3 sections: usage, billing, and user. On the usage page, you'll notice the button that says Buy More Upload or Messaging Credits. Upload credits are for data collection, messaging credits for sending messages. If I click on this button, it allows me to specify, for example, that I want messaging credits, how many I want, and it tells me exactly how much they'll cost. You'll notice that at 10,000 messaging credits per $100, each messaging credit is 1 US cent. Let me go ahead and close this because I don't need to buy any more messaging credits right now. If I move from the usage tab of my account page to the user tab of my account page, I can see that this is where I fill in my username, change my password, and also I can select a time zone, which again right now is indicating the correct time zone for me, America, New York, but I could of course pull down the menu and choose a different time zone, either for my own city or for a city that's in the same time zone as me. Super important to make sure both that you have messaging credits and that you're set for the right time zone. But now that we have both of those things, let's click back on the messaging link and go back to the messaging dashboard. On the messaging dashboard, you'll notice on the right-hand side there are some simple instructions for how to send messages, and it is pretty simple. 1, you'll need to pick a message or type or record one of your own new messages. 2, you'll need to select the recipients. 3, you set the timing and press send. Very simple. Since I've already entered some messages, I have a message list here that's got 13 messages on it. We can look through these different messages. The first column is the body of the message, and if I hover over any message, I can see the content from the message. If I move to the second column, it tells me what type of message. There are 3 types or channels of message that Magpi can send. One is text-to-speech, the other is SMS, the other is audio. We'll give more detail about that in a moment. I can see when the message was created and who last modified it, and there are tags that can be used to categorize and sort through messages later. So for our message list, let's go ahead and click on this first one, which says Message from Save the Children. And I should add that this was not, in fact, done with Save the Children. This is really just for demonstration purposes. If I click on that message and click Edit, it will open up the message editing window where we see, first of all, an explanation of message types. So SMS messages, of course, everyone knows you type a text message and it goes out as text to a mobile phone. Landlines cannot receive text messages. The second type, text-to-speech, that's where you type a text message, but it goes out as a phone call, and when the person picks up the phone, the message is read automatically by the computer. The computer reads the message out loud. And the third type of message is as an audio message, a recorded audio message. So we can see that the second component of the Add Edit message window is the text itself. Now, you don't have to fill this out if you're doing an audio message, but for SMS or text-to-speech, you'll need to put the message in this text box. The third component, since we've selected text-to-speech, if you type text in the window and you want the computer to read it out loud, you'll have to tell the computer, for text-to-speech, what language is the message in. If we pull down this menu, we see that many languages are supported by the text-to-speech functionality in Magpi. And in fact, within languages, for certain languages, there are several accents available. For English, we can choose between Australian, Canadian, British, Indian, or American accents. For Spanish, we can choose between the Spanish of Spain or the Spanish of Mexico or Latin America. And for Chinese, as you can see, we have both Mandarin, Cantonese, and Taiwanese Mandarin, so several variations of Chinese as well. Not accents, but different language variations. So in this case, I've specified that this message is in English from the United States, and we can click the Play Text-to-Speech button to hear it.
Message from Save the Children. Vaccination is very important for child health. For more information, call 202-525-4451.
And as I said, if we wanted to, we could have it go out in a different accent. So let's go ahead and pick, let's say, English Australia, and see how that sounds.
Message from Save the Children. Vaccination is very important for child health. For more information, call 202-525-4451.
Now it's interesting. You'll notice that in Australia, phone numbers are formatted differently. And so when we tell the computer that this is an Australian message, it does not interpret that phone number as a phone number because that's not the way phone numbers are written in Australia. That's the way they're done in the US and Canada. So I'm sure if we picked Canada.
Message from Save the Children. Vaccination is very important for child health. For more information, call 202-525-4451.
So you notice that for Canada, of course, it did recognize that that phone number was, in fact, a phone number. Now, other components of the Add Edit Message window, besides the text of the message, the language for text-to-speech, if you were choosing an audio message or adding or editing an audio message, you'd see this message enabled, and you could start recording and modify your recordings. And then, very importantly, there are tags available so that you can categorize your messages. If you only have a few messages in the system, maybe it's not so important to categorize the messages, but over time, I'm sure Magpi users will accumulate hundreds of messages, if not more, and then it will be very, very useful, for example, to be able to filter your messages to see only the pediatric messages related to vaccination, for example. So do take the time to add tags to your messages when you create or edit them. One final component, please note that Magpi is not, at the current time, HIPAA compliant, and so you should not use Magpi to send protected health information. What's an example? Well, you could send a general message about health, as we have here, that vaccination is very important, but you wouldn't want to use Magpi messaging to send, for example, a patient's HIV status, because again, it's not compliant with HIPAA, the regulations in the United States that govern the transmission of and the storage of protected health information. So again, we've got the message type, what channel, as they say, the actual text of the message, for text-to-speech, the language, and the tags. So let's go ahead and save this message, this text-to-speech message. And now we can move to the bottom list, which is our list of contacts. So if I pick one of these contacts, editing a contact is pretty much what you'd expect. You've got the first name, last name, phone number, email, which is optional, their time zone, and if you add a new contact, it will assume by default that the new contact is in the same time zone as you are. So you'll have to make sure that that is in fact the case. You can add groups to your contacts. Groups for contacts are the same thing as tags for messages. These are ways to categorize your contacts so you can later filter them and sort through them. We are also adding, and we'll shortly have within Magpi, the ability to send messages that are timed in relation to birth dates, and thereby ages, due dates for pregnancy, and last and next appointment dates. So you can imagine that you will then be able to use Magpi to send a specific set of messages to women who are 7 months before their due date, that is to say they are 2 months pregnant. Or you could send messages to a parent's mobile phone number when their child was 2 months old, 4 months old, or 6 months old, and thereby in need of vaccinations. But again, the Add Edit Contact window is pretty basic and just about what you'd expect. So, I have numerous messages in my list, and I have numerous contacts. For the purposes of demonstration, I want to send a message to myself. So let me go ahead and type my name in here and find myself in the list. And I can see that I've got both a test and a real one. Let me go ahead and select my mobile phone number, which is entered as a contact here. So I have selected the Save the Children message. It's a text-to-speech message. I have one contact selected, which is me. And I'm going to say that I want the message to go out once now. When I click this, it tells me it's going to be sent to the selected contact as soon as I press OK. Now that's a little bit of an exaggeration. The message has actually been put onto our Schedule tab, which is sort of an outbox. And if we click on the Schedule tab, we can see that it is in fact in the Waiting to be Sent box. You can see the message, who it's going to go out to, the receiver's time zone, the sender's time zone, and if I hover over the message, I can see what the message in fact is. So this outbox, this list of queued messages, is pulled by the system once every 60 seconds. I can hear my phone is ringing right now, so it must be being sent right now. I'm going to answer it and put it on speaker.
Message from Save the Children. Vaccination is very important for child health. For more information, call 202-525-4451.
Fantastic. So in fact, the message went out, and if I click on the already sent message, I see that now it has in fact been sent. Where is it? Right. I had the message sorted by message, by the message, but in fact when I sort by the send time, I see our message at the top of the list. So let's go back to the messaging dashboard just to review. Again, we have a list of messages. They can be 3 different types: SMS, text-to-speech, or audio. We have a list of contacts, and those contacts can be either added one at a time, or they can be imported just as the messages can. They can be imported through an Excel spreadsheet. And if we select any message, we will see the timings over here. So let's pick a message, and now we can see the single message timings. We'll be adding multiple message timings shortly. Now, if you're using the Magpi system, it's important to also understand that you have free support through our support system. All of our users get free support, and you can get that by clicking on the Support tab here on the left-hand side. When you do that, it opens up a window, and that allows you to do 2 things. The first thing you should try is to search for the answer to your question using this box in the top right-hand corner. So if I wanted to know, for example, how to import contacts, I could type import contacts here and hit return. And in fact, it shows me all of the matching hits within our support system. And the first one is how to import contacts into Magpi from Excel. Exactly what I want. But supposing that I didn't find what I want, I would click Go Back, and it would already have put my query into the question field, and in the details field, I could put in more detail. I need to know how to import a very large list of contacts into Magpi. Please help. I could put my name, my email address, and submit, and that would create a support ticket, and one of our very dedicated support staff would contact you within a very short period of time. So do take advantage both of the ability to search through our support system and also to get real human support by submitting a support ticket. This concludes our introduction to Magpi messaging. I hope you find it useful, and please do take the time to let us know what you're doing with Magpi messaging, how we can improve it, and the things that you like the best about it.